Let me just show you the chords for the A section of the tune. If you make a C add 9 shape, and I'm actually going to relieve this finger of its duty and just mute the D string here so that then I can make this sharp 11 there with my first finger. First, third, fourth fingers. Sorry, second, third, fourth fingers. Can't count. First finger back here. And then as we go to our G chord, it's nice to put the third in the bass because that's actually what you hear on the recording. So I have to switch all of my fingers now. I put my first finger at the second fret from the capo, fourth fret actually, on the A string, and then I put my middle finger on the B string there at the fifth fret. I'm going to say real fret numbers or I'm going to get confused. And my fourth finger at the seventh fret. And then you have to switch up again. You can do it like that. This is just like a G chord, but I'm going to not state the bass. So my index finger does a lot of muting. I learned to do this stuff from playing Freddie Green voicings and stuff and playing jazz guitar, but mute that string, mute that string. Add 9. Sometimes we're going to need our first finger here, and sometimes as we move to the sharp 11, we're going to need it there. We lift up the fourth finger and put your first finger down. And then this G, it's a G chord, but I'm going to add my fourth finger there to add the ninth. And then I do this. This is the A section of the tune, and then it's just something to notice. I'm using, when I play this G with the B and the bass, I'm actually muting the low E string and the D string with my index finger. Do like that. And then when I come to the C add 9, I just mute the D string. I should note that I'm talking in capo forms. This is actually a D chord and this is actually an A chord, but in terms of chord shapes you can understand them. This is a C add 9 and a G over B. So then, and it's nice for an intro, it kind of swells in with the keyboard, right? So you hear this for about a measure. I've got my pick in my hand, but I'm going to use my pick and fingers over here. And I'm going to start with the bass note, as though I'm holding the same chords, and I could in fact hold the same chords, but I'm going to play just those first time. And then same 3 strings. So I get 3 strings, and then 3 strings. And now I'm going to move the bass down and actually let me hold this just like I would with my C add 9, but I'm going to hold this now to move the melody down, the bass melody. And then keep moving it down. And then as the verse comes in, you move to the bass note, the C. And then... So let me do all that again. Okay, so we're talking about the intro. To play the intro, I'm going to do a little hybrid picking over here. My pick is going to play a bass note, and my middle finger is going to play the B string, and my ring finger is going to play the high E string. All at once. Hybrid picking. Pick on the bass string, middle finger on the B, ring finger on the E. So, for the first 4 bars, I'm going to play the bass note on the G string. And then I want to switch and play the third of that C add 9 form. And then so all together we're going to get hybrid picking now on the A string. So let me run that intro again. The first 2 bars, I'm going to hybrid pick on the G string. That C add 9 for 2 bars, picking the bass on the G, and then move to our G over B, picking the bass the same way. And now, move the bass to the D string. On that C add 9, we're now going to move our... I have to finger it a little different on the left hand to get this bass note. And then finally, let go of that first finger so you can get that open D string. So let me see if I can play all that together. And we've got... And then finally moving. I've got my records on. Ah! Let me see if I can play that whole intro one more time. So we'll do this like. Move the bass.